Hi, gang, sexy. How about just a real quick overview of the Solobot, the AEO, okay? The artificial enemy opponent. All right, so we're going to play the Battle of Vimero, like I said, because I didn't get to finish that last time. I'm going to play as the Duke of Wellington, Sir Arthur Wellesley, and the Commonwealth, British forces, whatever they are. And I'm going to let the bot play the French on the attack. Now, when you are using the bot, all of the scenarios in this game have a battle plan, and it has options. And you will roll a dice to choose an option, or I guess you could just pick one if you wanted to. But I rolled the dice, and they came up with Battle Plan 4, which, nice, pretty little map right there with some lines of approach, lines of departure, objectives, and it'll give you some minor details on how to execute those and who executes down, what route or what objective or what line of departure, okay? So in the Vimero scenario, the first people to arrive are a cavalry division under Margeron, I think that's his name, which would be this gentleman right here, okay? Now, I'm not going to give you the full details on a solo, but I'm just going to give you a general idea on how this first turn worked. So you had to roll odd or even to see whether each cavalry brigade either went to the left flank or to the right flank, right? I got a split. So the second cavalry brigade is going to the right, and the first cavalry brigade is going to the left. All right, so you'll have two flankings, and then you'll have a main force in this fight right here, okay? Now, I won't be controlling what the bot does. I know which units need to go where by either a dice roll or what the instructions tell me. But I won't be controlling what they do on their attack, and they are on the offensive, okay? But just for basics, so you'll be drawing the command cards. If a division leader, if his brigade leaders are within command, you don't have to put the brigade leader's cards in there, you just use the division leader. Now, you're going to roll a dice on a chart to see how many orders you get to issue during this game turn or this phase or whatever. And the French, they got 2 on this one. Well, they only had to use 1 because Margeron is the only leader in there, so he used 1. But you're using the bot. So you're going to roll on here, and since he's coming in as a reinforcement, he is at what they call distant. He is well away from the enemy. Sorry about that. So I rolled a 2, which placed him in reserve, or I rolled a 1, put him in reserve. Like I say, I'm just giving you the basics of how to use the matrix on the cards. So you can see right there's reserve, and I was distant and rolled a 1. All right, so we're in a reserve status. Well, you have a movement phase, and you also have a reserve movement phase, okay? Units in reserve, they move during the reserve movement phase in this particular setup. So there was no movement. Since there was no movement, there was no reaction by Wellington's forces over there. So then what we did was we went ahead to the reserve movement segment, and we executed an action card to see what the units would do, all right? Now, since these guys are reinforcements and they were going to conduct movement, you can see the sequence, priority, the middle, and then the last thing. Well, these guys are reinforcements. They're certainly not going to launch a close combat attack. They're not going to change front to face the enemy because they're not even near the enemy yet. So these guys are just going to move to their objective or their departure points, okay? Or their line of departure. So the line of departure for this unit's over here. The line of departure for these guys are going to be over here. They're going to end up running in and mixing with those guys. I can see it now. Now, right behind these guys is going to be the 1st RE Division, which is going to have 2 brigades of infantry and some artillery. They're going to come in, and I've already rolled the dice to see where they go. They're going to go left with these guys over here, with this cavalry over here. So they're going to be the left flanking force. Everything else that comes in is reinforcements, which you can see. Everything on the card except for that bottom left portion are going to be in this fight, okay? And they're going to go, hey, diddle, diddle, right down the middle and attack straight towards Vimero. So when I test played this thing, these cards were the same. It's a very good solo system. Now, Terry even states in his notes about this stuff, or in the rules about this stuff, if for some reason you think, and he says it's potentially going to happen, that the action card that you choose is going to make a bad decision, just completely bad decision. I don't remember having that issue, but if it's going to make a bad decision, then that's where you probably need to step in and say, no, that would never happen, and do it yourself. But like I say, I did not have that issue. So you've even got options that if they're firing, what they're going to do. All right. You've got options if they're going to just be moving or if they're going to close combat. It tells you in priority what to do. Closest unit or target with exposed rear or a target on the objective. All right. Close combat decisions, no. I don't remember what all the things do. It'll come back to me as I start to play. But I just wanted to see how easy this thing is to use. It gives you your priorities for whatever it is you're attempting to do with that particular formation. All right. And it gives you what that leader's going to do or what posture, well, we know the French are in an attack posture. So it'll tell you what orders they're going to receive, either attack, reserve, or no orders whatsoever, okay? And the rule booklet's very explanatory when it comes to this. It's very clear. There's no issue. I'm not having any problems. I'm flipping through player aids cards, which you've only got, well, 2 if you count the sequence of play for this. And I'm flipping back and forth between the rule book and the companion book with the scenarios in it. But I'm really not having any difficulty finding anything. He's very good. Terry was very good about noting what rule sections, specific rules in, and what to read. And they're so easy to read. The print's real big, and it's not like overworded. Okay. All right. So we're off and running. You're getting the first glimpse. The first movement of French cavalry is on the map. There'll probably be maybe a couple turns before they get in. So this is all battle cavalry except for this guy right here is light cavalry. All the rest of them are battle cavalry, so they move at a rate of 12, and the light cavalry moves at a rate of 14. But I'm not going to send that light cavalry out on their own. Now, when the next phase comes up, next turn or whatever, this leader over here, the 2nd Brigade, he's going to be out of command. So if you issue him an order, the division commander right here for this cavalry, this guy's not automatically going to get that order, so you'll have to burn an order for him. And then now his card on the next turn, his command card will be in the deck with his division commander because he's out of command. So, and what you do is you'll draw these command cards as you play to see who does what in what order. So you'll have Margeron next time, which will account for the brigade that's with him, and then you'll have that brigade commander. He'll be in the deck, which I believe is Weiss. He'll be in the deck with him next time when you flip. So, and whether or not they get orders initiative, you'll roll. All right, it'll tell you that. It'll tell you who the first player is for a turn. So when I go to the next turn, I'll flip and decide who the first player is. All right, you can even use the cards for that. Orders initiative, you'll roll to see if he gets one of the orders. Like, say, if the French have 2 orders next turn and you flip this card, you'll roll to see if he actually gets one of those orders. He might not. All right? And then you'll flip the next card and go on to see if that guy gets the orders. So these things are really, there's not like a ton of information on there, but there's enough to be effective as a solo bot for the game. So, all right. So just a quick glance of how the setup is, the first movement, just a basic glimpse of what the solo bot does. I'll get more details with you later when I start to get into some of the fire combat and the close combat. But here you go. This is First Victories, Glory and Empire, and we're already getting after it. See you soon.